This is causes of death ranked by how many U.S. presidents they've killed. Currently, there have been 44 presidents of the United States, 45 if you count Grover Cleveland twice. Of those, 39 are now dead. In this video, I will rank various causes of death based on how many of these presidents they have killed. So, by far, the largest cause of death among U.S. presidents is natural causes, killing the majority of presidents, 34 specifically. Now, of these, 14 have died of what I've categorized as undiagnosed or disputed illness or several coinciding illnesses. Basically, we know that they died of natural causes, but either they died of several diseases or we're not quite sure what they died of. Thomas Jefferson had a number of conditions. He suffered from diarrhea, kidney infection, uremia, pneumonia, prostate cancer. He showed symptoms of all of these, and any of them or several could have killed him. James Monroe died of tuberculosis plus heart failure. Andrew Jackson died of edema, then called dropsy, plus heart failure. Martin Van Buren died of asthma plus heart failure. William Henry Harrison was the first president to die in office. He is also famously a very short-lived president, dying only 30 days into his term as president. It was commonly believed for a long time that he died of pneumonia, but recent records have shown that he may have actually died from septic shock resulting from typhoid fever. Benjamin Harrison died of pneumonia resulting from influenza. William Howard Taft was famously a very fat president, so there has been some speculation that he died of cardiovascular disease, but the official cause of death as recorded by his doctors was cerebral arteriosclerosis. Woodrow Wilson died of stroke plus heart complications. Warren G. Harding died in office. His official cause of death was cerebral hemorrhage, but a number of current medical historians think he might have actually died of cardiac arrest. Franklin D. Roosevelt also died in office. His official cause of death was stroke, but many people suspect he actually died of cerebral hemorrhage or even melanoma, skin cancer. Harry S. Truman died of multiple organ failure resulting from pneumonia. Richard Nixon died of stroke plus cerebral edema resulting from atrial fibrillation. Gerald Ford died of cerebrovascular disease plus arteriosclerosis resulting from aortic stenosis. I'm going to pretend like I know what that means. Ronald Reagan died of pneumonia plus Alzheimer's disease. So, in addition to those, 7 presidents died of heart failure alone. These are John Adams, James Madison, Rutherford B. Hayes, Grover Cleveland, Calvin Coolidge, Dwight D. Eisenhower, and Lyndon B. Johnson. 3 presidents died of stroke, those being John Tyler, Millard Fillmore, and Andrew Johnson. 2 presidents, John Quincy Adams and Chester A. Arthur, died of cerebral hemorrhage. 2 presidents, James K. Polk and Zachary Taylor, died of cholera, with Taylor dying in office. 1 president, Franklin Pierce, died of liver cirrhosis. 1 president, James Buchanan, died of respiratory failure. 1 president, Ulysses S. Grant, died of cancer. One president, Theodore Roosevelt, died of pulmonary embolism. One president, Herbert Hoover, died of internal bleeding. And one president, George H.W. Bush, died of Parkinson's disease. As of this video's recording, George H.W. Bush is the most recent president to have died. So the second leading cause of death among presidents is gunshot wound, killing 4 presidents. All 4 of these presidents were assassinated, and all 4 died in office. 2 of them were killed directly from the gunshot wound. These are the 2 famous assassinated presidents, Abraham Lincoln and John F. Kennedy. Each was shot in the head. And 2 presidents died from an infection resulting from gunshot wound. These are the 2 lesser-known assassinated presidents, James A. Garfield and William McKinley. Each of them was shot in the chest and only died several days later in the hospital. Fun fact about James A. Garfield, by the way, when his doctors were removing the bullet from his chest, they did it without sanitized gloves, which many people blame for him getting the infection. It's believed among several medical historians that he could have actually survived the assassination attempt if it wasn't for his doctors being incompetent. And finally, there is one disputed death, that being George Washington. It's unclear if he died more from natural causes or from medical malpractice. A number of people think he may have died from tracheal inflammation or epiglottitis, but many believe that he died of blood loss, since bloodletting was a common medical practice of the time. For those who don't know, bloodletting is removing blood from a patient in order to solve some issue. It's a pretty disproven practice nowadays, since it really hurts more than it helps the patient, but it was used at the time, and many people suspect that it was ultimately the blood loss which killed George Washington, even more than his underlying conditions. In any case, I hope that you found this video informative and entertaining. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in my next video.